you guys have not heard, Maria Velasquez, I'm just repeating it for the LinkedIn Live. Maria Velasquez has joined the Cybersecurity Marketing Society full time as of
Yay!
yesterday. So
Now
excited.
now it's all uphill from here, man. It's gonna be great. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Oh yeah.
Definitely uphill. Definitely.
It's going to be awesome. So thank you, watchers, listeners, for those of you who, I'll do a little housekeeping now that we're live and now that we've started, now that Charlene's here and that I've given that amazing announcement about Maria joining. Yeah, we're like right next to each other. Welcome everybody to another webinar by the Cybersecurity Marketing Society and our partner Fornix Marketing. We're so excited to have Charlene Ignacio, I always say the because it's true, the Charlene Ignacio, Channel Chief, CMO, CEO, industry, multi-industry CEO, and also a new role, right, Maria? What was actually, Charlene, you're also involved in the MSSP world. Maybe tell the group about that since that's newer to some of them.
Yes. Well,
right. Nice
we
update
have a
from you.
community. We have a community specifically for MSSPs who want to focus on cybersecurity as part of their suite of services or their stack. And so we have a movement of combining this community together so that these professionals can grow from an MSP to an MSSP or an MSSP to continue to elevate, or they're a cybersecurity vendor who wants to be able to contribute to this community. So this movement is really a chance for them to collaborate, to be innovative, and of course, as always, guys, right, to connect. People forget that we're in a human people business. Sometimes
Mhm.
people are so tech focused that they forget that we're people first. So that is the intent of the movement. This was founded this last year, and we're continuing to move forward in our partnerships with the MSP Association of America, which has over 100,000 that work together with them. So we're excited.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. That's so exciting. And it's so great that there is a space for MSPs and
Mhm.
MSSPs to also congregate and do better work and become more
Yes.
successful, similar to
Yes.
how the Cybersecurity Marketing Society helps make marketers successful. So I love that. I love what you're doing, Charlene. We love what you're doing, and we can't wait to see you in December.
Yes.
You're
Are you coming,
also
everybody? You're here. You better be coming to our amazing event because we want it to be so successful for you as well as for all those people who are attending, first time goers. We want to know that you're coming.
Yes, absolutely. We want you to come to Cyber Marketing Con. It'll be held December 8th through 11th in Philadelphia. So I saw Sarah, you're in New Jersey. We hope you can make the very, hopefully easy trip over. It is a conference just for marketing and go-to-market and cybersecurity. 3.5 days with your closest friends, with your closest peers in the industry. It is a conference that's chock full of education, the best sessions that you could find in the industry, all about marketing in cybersecurity, as well as tons of curated networking and also some fun because we are the Cybersecurity Marketing Society and we always do things with a little bit of fun. So we hope to see you there where Charlene will be keynoting our day.
Oh my gosh, big
2.
expectations, guys. I'm there to over deliver to you.
Yep. She's going to be providing a keynote. I'm going to just give away the title here. Old channel is dead. Community is the future. So very spicy topic.
Very spicy, very controversial. But you know, if you're not controversial, you're boring. And if people aren't talking about you, then you're boring again.
I love that. You heard it here, folks. All right, Maria, will you pull up the slides? Because we have an exciting topic today, and we're just going to pull up this deck that we have. And of course, more housekeeping here. This is an incredibly interactive session. Literally the last 3 times we've had Charlene on, we didn't get through the deck because people just ask questions. And we want that, actually. We want you to share your questions in the chat, in the Q&A box on LinkedIn Live. I will be watching, we'll be watching, and pulling those up and answering them live or at certain, at a good break point. So if you have a question, do not hesitate. And no questions are dumb. That's not true.
Yes.
Some questions are dumb, but no questions about channel marketing are dumb. So please make sure to post in the chat and elsewhere. All right. So folks, channel marketing must-dos if you want to be competitive. That's today's topic. And Maria and Charlene, I'll let you guys take it forward.
Awesome. And again, guys, we're going to be watching the chat. I know Gianna's watching the chat, Maria's watching the chat, I'm watching the chat. So we have really good ADHD skills as we're putting on this webinar today, because so many people want to know more about channel marketing. And I want to give some really high level strategies, but also I want to get into the nitty gritties. This has been done not only for US clients of ours, but also internationally, where US markets are a hot target for a lot of our international partners. So they're coming into the US market. Many of our US market clients, next week, I will actually be in Barcelona, where many of our US clients are going globally. So this is something that I get to do every single day, and I just love it. And yes, Brian, please ask a question, put it in there. We want to know that we're serving you the best. So here's kind of the rules, guys. When you look at the marketing, our goal is to look at what is channel only versus channel to be B2C, because a lot of you guys are wearing the hat of marketing in your organizations. But when we get into the nitty gritty of what is channel marketing and what is channel marketing for the end user, it's a very different formula for you to use. So Maria, if you could go to the channel only versus channel B2C strategy page, that would be awesome. So many of you right now are in this responsibility of understanding how to communicate, because your ideal client is an MSP or an MSSP or a vendor. How you market to them is very different when your ideal client is channel plus channel and the end user. And this is why successful programs work, and successful channel programs are always going to lead the pack, because they're looking at the MSP as a whole person. They're not looking at them as a transaction, but they're looking at them as a person who has a business to run. They have a business to run on top of that. They have an end user that the MSP is trying to sell to and through. And so they look at their strategy as a whole strategy. And here's a couple of things that are very critical. If you're a channel only strategy and you're talking to an MSP and you're ignoring that they need to increase their MRR, you're ignoring that they're a business owner who's dealing with maybe sales training, sales deficiencies, maybe they don't have enough marketing support because maybe their wife's the marketing team and they're trying to just run a business and it's really hard to take that lift. You have to look at this and go, do I have the right marketing for all of the people involved in our success? And remember, community is the key when you're building this channel strategy. You cannot assume that the MSP who's going to buy your EDR or MDR solution knows how to communicate that to an end user. And this is a common problem, and we'll go through this as we continue to teach today, is that some of you are so tech heavy that you're not business savvy. You aren't end user connected. And so when you expect this MSP to sell your product and their end user understands that, I think that's a myth. And so today I want to really be clear, when you are channel only strategy and you only sell to that channel, you need to be able to understand two big things. Who is the end user that this MSP or MSSP is selling to? Now, my VARs, they have a bigger goal, right? They're just a vendor as a reseller. People understand that formula, but they don't understand that the end user needs marketing too. So if you're going to sell a pen test, for example, you need to understand a couple of key things. And this is the formula. Next slide, please. Is compliance is the strategy, everybody. I have to tell you time and time again, this is big miss from everyone. This is a humongous mistake in the channel right now, is that they're trying to sell tech vomit instead of compliance. So compliance is the strategy, everybody. And the reason why is because the end user doesn't understand all of the technology talk. They don't even understand what a pen test is about, but they just know that I've got to have a pen test in order to stay in business. I'll use CPAs right now. Any of you getting your taxes done, business owners? Probably are. You're probably struggling. October 15th on the corner, right? You're just like freaking out, trying to do it all. Guess what? If I'm selling a pen test and my MSP is selling it to a CPA customer, I need to know that that CPA has to have 2 pen tests and a WISP in order for them to be staying in business. And that is compliance 101. Now look at your current marketing, everybody. Do you have a flyer? Do you have a webinar? Do you even have any collateral around the FTC ruling if your MSP is selling it to a CPA? And I can almost guarantee you 99% of you will say no. And that's where the money is being left on the table when it comes to empowering an MSP, MSSP, or VAR. They must have compliance as part of your marketing strategy in order for them to sell more of your services. I have a company right now, funny story. They came to me and said, Char, we're this amazing product. We're disrupting the space. And I said, but you have no end user collateral. So how do you expect your MSPs to sell your most amazing product, most amazing solution that's all futuristic? And they're like, we didn't think about that. And when I looked at their revenue, guys, guess where it was flat? Resell. Every single vendor on that list, every MSP vendor on that list had 0 sales because they couldn't understand how to convert that product into an end user strategy. So you must understand the framework of controls that govern that industry in order for us to sell and market better. Compliance is the strategy, guys. It
Can
is
I just
oh,
jump
what? Tell me,
in,
Gianna.
Charlene?
What? What?
I just love this so much. And I just wanted to jump in to say that I love this. Maria and I are over here like nodding our heads,
High
everything.
five in on the corner.
Yes, because a traditional enterprise sale, right? A traditional non-channel enterprise sale, we might be selling more of that. Obviously selling to a compliance framework is amazing if you're able to, but you're also
Right.
selling usually to sophisticated individuals, right? An enterprise company has potentially thousands of security engineers on their staff. They're super sophisticated. When you're selling to and through the channel, right? Like if you're doing an MSP or MSSP play, then that MSP that's selling to, 700 golf country clubs, right?
Right.
They're selling to that company or to, like you said, an accountant, and the accountant firm doesn't know the
Right.
difference between an XDR and a pen test and whatever. They don't care. They just know they have to be compliant. And I just wanted to
Yes.
jump in to like double, triple, quadruple click on that because that is
Oh,
so brilliant.
yes. And guys, I'll give you another example just because I know many of you represent different industries. And of course, part of the goal is, do you even understand that? Right? As the CMO, as the marketing manager, even your salesperson, do they even understand that? That's where many of the webinars, if you go back to what we've done here, I always say alignment is the key to success to increase the target bullseye. Every time the sales and marketing team fight, guess what happens, guys? Your target gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's where you end up with 0 success. It's not an I problem, it's a we problem. If sales doesn't understand compliance and marketing doesn't understand compliance, guess who doesn't understand compliance? Your MSP, MSSP, and vendor, your VAR. And then the end user ends up going, I know I need this service, but my MSP isn't talking about this. So I can't buy from him. And then guess what? Your MSP says, I'm losing business. How do I get more? Which is perfectly into this second strategy. Your
Yeah,
business
and I
owner
think
has needs. Go ahead, Maria.
I think too, Charlene, thank you. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
Um, I think sometimes we're intimidating by some of these compliance
Mm,
regulations because really, it's a lot of legal speak, a lot of technical speak, and we don't really have time, and then we rely on SME internally to teach us what we need to say.
right.
But I think if we just simplify it to here are the 3 things you need to know and why it matters to you, dear business, to be compliant. And here are the risks. And maybe here's some steps that you can take to maybe get halfway there. Then our job is done. Then the rest can be sort of on the other side.
Right. I love that.
But just trying to take all of that in and understand it like an actual compliance or auditor or a lawyer,
Right.
it doesn't make sense.
Nope, it doesn't. And Maria, you bring up a really good point. I would like you guys. So one of our clients, I actually am best friends with the CTO and product development team, because guess who's going to give me the most success? Them communicating to me and translating it to understand what the compliance is. So next time you want to get cookies from Crumble, next time you want to go get lunch, go with the product team and your CTO, because he's going to understand, or she's going to understand, how to translate this into the compliance framework, because this is what's going to be key to the success of your marketing, guys. Again, like Maria said, you could be intimidated, but if you're not willing to ask for help or know where to ask for help from, it's going to get really hard to do your job. And then you wonder why the KPIs aren't getting met. You're going to wonder why there's frustration between the sales and the marketing team. So this is the next solution that I want to give to you guys is we need to understand the business owner needs. Many times my clients will come to us. I'll give you an example. This client, very mature cybersecurity stack, very mature, comes to me and says, Char, we have just spent $500,000 on our go-to-market strategy and we didn't get a single closed deal. I said, well, that's a lot of money. Wow. Okay. So tell me more. They said, we don't understand the customer. We don't know what they need. We're coming in with our own ideas and it's not converting. No one's clicking our emails. No one's buying our product. No one's signing up. We get them to a demo and they fall off. And so guys, these 5 things are going to help you in your marketing strategy. First, you need to talk about MRR, monthly recurring revenue. 99% of us on this call, I am 100% sure that you are somewhat of a business owner. You understand business dynamics. So when you spend the money to a solution and add them to your cost bottom line, it needs to make you money, right? I have a client, he's kind of funny. He's like, hey, Shar, the first thing that I got when I picked this solution was it was going to make me money. I said, great, MSSP, awesome. He goes, I want 10 more of those, because they knew what his need was as a business to add on more staff, add on more solutions into his stack. So if your current marketing isn't talking about how you're going to help them make MRR, what's going to happen is they're going to pass you by and buy your competitor who is talking about that. Second is integration. This is a big one. I don't know about you, but I like to work smart and hard, but I don't want to work harder than I have to. So if integration is important, and I'll give you an example. If your product is integrated with ConnectWise and it's in their marketplace, then you need to talk about that. Because when you're a business owner and you're using your PSA tool and you have to then configure another solution and then create your own integration and create your own, right? Part of the struggle is, do I have the FTE to spend the time with this integration because your solution is not integrated into my current workflow? So a lot of times, guys, you will not be selected because it's a lift. It's a heavy lift for their team to say, okay, I'm going to include this pen test, but it's not included into my PSA. This is going to cost me more time and money than it's worth. How many times have you did that, Maria, in your current previous role? That integration is an important part of the stack, important part of their success, right? Huge. All right. Third, accessibility. Oh, isn't this a pain? So one of our MSPs that literally is converting from an MSP to an MSSP, he came to us specifically for that strategy. He said, you know, Charlene, it's great that these tools are all here, but I want to be able to know that my account manager's got my back. I want to know that this tool works. I want to be able to see data. I want to see reporting. I want to see my dashboard. And a lot of clients will come into the marketplace and I have to spend time to help them get the dashboard, help them get reporting, help them be able to see the configurations and make sure it's easy accessible, that the account manager actually is going to call my MSP customer back. That is an important part, guys, of actually being a part of the strategy instead of being the difficult part of the strategy. And here's what I mean by that. When you can pick someone who has everything organized and well put together, how much easier it is for you to do business? 10 times easier. But when you have to look at, hey, you know, I'll give you an example. One of our client partners is AT&T, Max, who we just love and enjoy, and he's such a good guy. He picks up the phone when an MSP and MSSP client calls him. And he's like, wow, Shar, a lot of them used to tell me the reason why they never worked for us is because they would have to get 15 calls, transfers, and then they get hung up on. And I thought,
Yep.
okay, right, Jana, isn't that true? I mean, Maria,
It's
isn't
so
that true?
true.
I mean, it is the UI, the UX experience is critical, but guess what, guys? That's what you have to do. And you have to be an advocate. You have to champion that and say, am I making this easy for my customer to work with us? And if I'm not, then we better get started on how to fix that. Because accessibility is a key component, right? When you're trying to run a business. Many of us have never dealt with payroll. Many of us have never dealt with a real business. But let me tell you, when you're a business owner and you're in that mindset, they're going to look for partners who actually understand that about them. All right, next, management. So one of our MSPs, he has been in business 18 years. We started asking for MDF funds, right? He's like, oh, sure, I've never asked for MDF funds. So we went back to one of his big partners and said, hey, we need MDF funds. He said, oh, okay, sure. I'm your new account manager. And he said, well, that's great. How come I haven't met you over the last 6 months? He goes, oh, I'm going to get to you and call you. Management of the account is like what I call like breath, like breathing is so critical. This account manager is the human touch, guys. So I'm not saying it's marketing's role to own all these problems. I'm just saying you are accountable, because no matter what, they're going to blame you to say marketing doesn't work. And yet you're doing everything right. And you're like, well, guess what, guys? You know what's not working? Account management is not working. The UX UI experience isn't working. The sales manager isn't working. Because if you don't do that, guys, and be an advocate, you're not bringing your team in together. And my goal for you is to align sales, marketing, operations, because nothing you can market out there is going to be true if the experience of the customer is everything against what you just said in your marketing. So
Mhm.
management, right?
If I could jump in, Charlene, it
Yes.
reminds me of what is very popular right now, the bow tie funnel. You guys have seen it, right? You know, it looks like a bow tie pasta.
Yes.
Not a bow tie that you wear, bow tie pasta. That's what I like to think about. So it's basically the journey to selling and closing. But after that, there's this whole journey of the experience of post sales, which is what you're talking about, Charlene.
Yes.
Can they call you? Is there a responsive ticketing system, or can they even talk directly to an SE who can help them with their problem, or their AE or their AM or whoever's involved with keeping that account happy on the company side? It's something that, like you said, marketing doesn't really own usually, but we can influence and we can definitely point out, look, if these customers or these channel partners are churning or saying, we don't want to do business with you anymore. Is there something in that experience side, which marketing definitely has a strong impact on, that could say something?
No, totally. So at Fornix, this number 5, guys, is huge. We actually require our clients to actually have a media day with us where we do photo and video with them because we want to capture the case studies. Whose champions, guys, are going to talk amazing things about you? And who do you think they're going to attract? Other champions. So you want to use a media strategy to document experience. You want to set it up in their onboard process that says in the first 30 days, we would like to get your testimony. We would love to do a video with you, a photo with you, so that their really high touch relationship strategy is key, guys. Because when they see another MSP succeeding with your solution, they're going to say, me too. If they see an MSSP working with your strategy, they're going to say, me too. Because guess what? That case study is tangible. And the reason why I send out Adam and the team is because I want them to capture that excitement. I don't want them to just say, yeah, we're great. We're having a good time. Here's the review. Here's my comments. It's like, I want to see the face, like put an exclamation point about, man, this partner, they really helped me grow my business because the pen test solution was amazing. Here's how I helped my CPAs. Here's how I helped write compliance. They can capture that in photo and video, guys, 10 times more likely for a higher conversion. LinkedIn will actually give you a better score and they'll actually show your stuff to more people because of the biometric emphasis on it. Remember, guys, static things are dying. Things are not working on social platforms anymore because of the introduction of AI. So now you have to really get into the nitty gritty, like high touch storytelling, case studies, saying this is the problem I had and this is the partner that I came in and solved that problem. These 5 things alone, guys, when you look at this, I can almost guarantee you overnight, you will increase by 30, 40, 50% in your retention and your ongoing marketing success. Anyone want to challenge me on that? I am literally right there with you because I have seen this in my own work with my clients in building their channel programs. Oh, Maria, this is the best one. You and I laughed.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about how do we help the team do better account management. It is by delighting them and making sure that there's, between that point of sale and the next date of renewal, you need to be helping them with resources, with all kinds of things that the marketing team can help you create and produce and launch to your partners. And the quality of it all needs to also say something and reflect on your expertise. And I think this slide says it all.
Guys, this is like a funny point of view because every time I walk into a room, I was just speaking last week. Every time I say tech vomit, no one wants to raise their hand, but they all look down and I'm like, are you guilty of tech vomit? Right. And that's one of the things that I have found every single time I run an event and I look at people's collateral, 99% of the words are all about the tech. Not even anything I could even imagine. Like, guys, who do you think's picking this up? It's a business owner saying, how are you going to solve my problems for my clients? And so that's the statement right here on this slide is tech vomit versus what's it in it for me? I can guarantee you, I'll give you an example. I have a client, they had a 6-touch email sequence. Okay. They're like super brilliant. The CEO is brilliant. He just knows everything. I mean, cybersecurity, he just is so bright. He's so easy to work with. But when I looked at all of their stuff in this email sequence, it was all about them. It told them about how amazing we are, what we're going to do for you, all of these things that we're going to promise you and deliver. And guess what? They had 0 engagement and 0 click rate. So they got mad at me because I told them today you're going to change your entire 6-touch email sequence. And they were like, Char, how do you know this is going to work? I said, I need you to just trust me and let me do what I do. So we literally changed the first subject sent. I'll just give it to you so you guys can use this. The first email post event was, hey, did we get to meet you at the event? Here's some photos of some of our fun friends we met. They put the pictures of the photos inside of the email, and they said they had a high click-in rate. First time ever. Second email was, hey, do you guys want to increase your MRR? This is what we've done for other MSPs. Boom, appointments started coming to them. People started calling them and asking them, can I get an appointment? I want to learn how to do this for my own business. I'm an MSP and I want to increase my MRR. The second you stop talking about yourself and the second you start talking about your clients and the benefits that our partners are going to get, your conversion rate goes up. Your engagement rate goes up. Because remember, guys, it's not about you, it's about them. Gianna, I know that you're chomping at the bit about this because this is something you preach all the time. And Maria, I know you've done this in your roles talking about the success of our partners, not the success of the business.
This is absolutely. And also I want to just add in one more thing, Shar, that was evident in what you did, but like you didn't mention it directly. It's the human approach too. This is something that Maria is always talking about as well. It's the human touch. It's an emotional thing. It's not like it blows my mind every time you talk and you say something that seems so natural from like a relationship building perspective. Like, hey, like you came to an event, here's pictures of you and of other people from the event. Like people love pictures. That's why we're on social media. That's why Facebook was a thing. And it's like integrating that into a business context without it being, doing it in the right way. And that was like a really nice email that you just described. I think is
Yes.
like, it's like blows my mind every time. Because I do come from that enterprise direct sales
Right.
background. So it's instead of it being like about people, sometimes it is a little bit about technology and it just blows my mind every time.
Oh, and Gianna, what's really great about that is that we can make the change, guys. You're not having to continue on what's not working. My invitation to you today is to just do better at what you're currently doing and see the success. My goal isn't to come in and just change everything that you're doing, but my goal is to say, can you just do it a little differently? Maybe the next email sequence that you're going to do post-event, that you can do that versus feeling like, oh, Charter's talking about this humongous strategy and the whole world's going to crumble now because I'm doing it wrong. That's not the intent. Right, Maria? They can start somewhere.
We just overthink it. We overthink it because we're going to get judged by the other side, right? And we're going to say something wrong, or we're going to use the wrong acronym, or it's going to start, sound like marketing fluff. And we overthink this so much and over engineer this outrage that it becomes not very human to human.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so.
And guys, as we move, into what really drives success and to really make yourself competitive, this is really the next slide that I think you should take a screenshot on, make it a banner, do this at your next stand-up meeting, is sales drives marketing decisions. This is the rule of all business. If you're in business, sales drives every decision you make. Sales drives every hiring, firing, every marketing expense you do. Everything that you do is all about what sales drives. Sales drives these marketing decisions. And so my invitation to you is to look at the current acquisition cycle and say to yourself, all right, if they bought maybe on the third email, or maybe at the seventh event, or maybe we saw them and did a demo and they bought on the spot, we need to be able to repeat success. So what that means is you need to get aligned with your sales and your marketing efforts, because when you can see the life cycle of that client, right, from prospect to close and then close to resell, you're going to find the data that you're looking for to make your decisions better. And here's an example. So right now I'm redoing an entire sales division. Even though I'm a CMO and a channel chief, I am redoing their sales structure because their sales structure is leaving money on the table. So all of the blame is going to marketing. And so what I did is I audited everything and I said, I'm going to audit your sales department and look at where they fall off. And 100% of what I found was that from the time they were acquired and signed up for services, guess what? Nothing else happened after the account came on, after the onboard. And I thought, there's low-hanging fruit right there, guys. There's that $600,000 of revenue that you need for Q4. So everything you are doing in marketing, guys, has a sales initiative in front of it, not behind it, in front of it. Because that is where your KPIs are going to tell you in your sales cycle, repeatable success happens at this juncture, or it happens at this engagement. Sometimes, guys, you'll see an MSP who comes around after the 7th event who actually buys, or maybe after the 15th email, because they weren't ready yet. This is your responsibility, though, is to go, the people who did buy, are we repeating success for them? Did they buy because we did an MRR webinar? Did they buy because we did a compliance strategy webinar? If we're not doing those things currently, then you're never going to see where they actually convert in the marketing cycle. That is one of the key strategies, guys, in the foundation of any sales and marketing strategy is what is the life cycle from prospect to sale to close, from close to onboard, from onboard to resale. All of those little steps in between are critical. And if you can repeat that success, guys, it's going to be perfect alignment between your sales department and your marketing department. Ladies, have you heard this before? What do you think? Give them some feedback.
Oh, oh, absolutely. I think this should be the Bible of it all. Every sales playbook should start with this, really, because, and I think we also make the mistake of thinking there is a significant handover in that process, and then marketing's job is done, and now it's you, sales. But I think if we change the mindset that marketing needs to continue beyond that sale and beyond the renewal and alongside the sales team with that cross sell and upsell and everything, then at least maybe the sales team could feel empowered to continue that journey. But it is really silly that we're actually saying this. It's so obvious, and it should really be the backbone of every sales organization, because stats do show that it is more expensive to acquire a new customer than it is to renew, upsell, cross-sell an existing one.
And Maria, they're already with you guys. They already want to be a champion. You've already done all of the work to build that trust and confidence. The fact that you drop them off after the sale's done and you don't nurture them and do that, all those marketing steps is like baffling to me. Every time I come in to audit a channel program, I'm always looking for those little things. And they're like, we didn't see it that way. We didn't look at our sales metrics like that. And I said, why not? Because there's not an alignment between the sales and marketing departments. And that's my ask for each one of you on the webinar today, is to look at how can you be more aligned? How can you be more collaborative? How can you pull together as a team to say we win or we lose? Not I win and I lose, but we win and we win together as an entire organization. What's really fun is this is something that we offer to organizations. And Maria, this is the next slide that they can scan this QR code. And it is a trusted source, everybody, in cybersecurity world. But this is a QBR that we actually do for channel programs. This is a quality business review of your current channel program where I will come in and audit it, both on the sales side and marketing side, so that you can actually take real life data and say, from this audit, this is what Charlene had found, so that you can implement that. This whole thing, guys, you guys can take this little playbook and actually take this audit and use it to improve your current channel strategy for marketing, for your sales, the alignment, figuring out where you're leaving money on the table, maybe changing some of the things that you're doing, adding things that work for you. One of the things that we laugh about a lot of times when we're building channel programs is sometimes you're the problem. Sometimes you're married to the problem. Sometimes you're just too close. You can't see the problem. And so you need someone else from the outside to actually give you real detailed feedback to say, do this, this, and this. Don't worry about doing everything. Just do a couple of things well and continue to repeat that success. So this is my invitation to you and the community to work with us on a QBR level so I can review your channel program so that we can provide that engagement to you. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I think that's a great place for you to connect with me, reach out to me, send me a message, ask for the deck if that's something that would help you communicate to your leadership that these are things that we need to do and do better as a channel. But also just to get to know me, because everything that we're doing at the CMO community is really to help you grow in your role. But some of you are interested, guys, right, into attending this upcoming event. And so I want to make sure that you get as much time to get budgets approved, get yourself there. I know hotels are open for booking, but again, Maria and Gianna, I think a lot of people just don't know where to start. And I want them to start at the conference first. If there's any place to start, is there.
That's so true. And thank you, Charlene. And we can't wait to hang out with you at the conference. Y'all, the energy that Charlene has here is her always energy. So she's really fun to be with. So we have a good time, and she'll
Why
be at the
not?
show. And she'll be also offering speed consulting with attendees. So if you're coming to Cyber Marketing Con, you can actually book time with Charlene one-on-one and talk with her one-on-one about a channel problem that you have, which is really cool. We're bringing in some experts, and Charlene is one of them.
Wow,
And of course,
I appreciate
her
that.
keynote, it cannot be missed.
So spicy, guys, so spicy. And Gianna, I just want to make sure everyone on this webinar, When you come to my keynote session, I am actually going to give you my playbook, literally printed in hand so that you will understand how to take this QBR strategy and use it for your own channel. And I just want to gift that to you guys because channel is dead. Community is the future. Community is everything. Being from Hawaii, community was everything that we had. And so it was just kind of ingrained in me. It was part of my fiber. But as I built channel programs and really have seen people evolve from CMO role to channel chief and to, channel marketing, guys, you guys need the playbook that I've used for companies that are small, large, big, enterprise, globally launched. And so I'm sharing those secrets during my keynote. And so I invite you to register. Of course, not only are you going to meet all of us, but you're going to meet other peers who probably have the same needs like you, who just want a community around them.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's something we've done really well, and what the conference does really well is help make that curated networking and that peer community available to folks who attend. I'll say another thing too about your QBR, Charlene.
Yes.
Sometimes, you were saying, sometimes you don't know the problem. Sometimes you do know the problem and just nobody will listen to you. So that's also another, I'm not saying any of us here have had that issue, but sometimes it makes sense to bring in a third party when you have something you want to say and you've been saying it for a while and people won't listen to you. Sometimes a trusted third party also helps validate that internal analysis or finds new stuff or adds on stuff. But there's that too. I'll just say that.
Well, and I think too, like sometimes, there's this idea that you have to do it this way just because it's always been done that way, right? Like one of our clients, like every single month we do a roadshow technology conference for them because our rule is if you're not in front of your partners, if you're not connecting with them, guess who's right there with them? Your competitor. So you need to do things that are fun events. You need to do a virtual lunch and learn with actual lunch being delivered from Grubhub. Like you've got to think things differently because our community, right, guys? You guys can keep doing the same thing you're doing and you're wondering why I'm not getting better results. And I'm asking you, why don't you just change one or two things so that you can increase that visibility, increase that relationship building. And guys, guess what? Your partner will be that much more of a champion for you when you do things differently. You will stand out in the sea of sameness.
I love it. I love it. All right, folks. So if anyone has questions, please drop in the chat. If not, I am going to take the opportunity to ask Charlene a bunch of questions also, because every time I talk to her, I learn something new. Charlene, you were talking about the MDF funds earlier.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Actually, audience, if you could put in the chat also how familiar you are with channel, like what is your level of expertise, that would be great. But for me, MDF funds are a little bit of a mystery. And you were saying that you had approached one of your customers saying like, hey, let's start talking about MDF funds. Can you explain sort of that scenario and that background? Because for me, it's like, what does that even mean?
Well, guys, I have to tell you, 99% of your MSPs don't even know what that is. So you will be a champion if you educate them on this. So here it is. MDF are marketing designated funds that are given from a partner or a vendor to an MSP, MSSP, or a VAR to help market and solicit their product or service. The reason why those MDF funds are available is because it's one, based on current sales. So like one of our partners right now, we do all of the MDF marketing for AT&T and they're amazing. They have a great cybersecurity program. Max is like in it to win it. He is there with them. We travel the country with him. And so when he's talking about MDF funds, guys, he actually says, hey, Char, this MSP out of Lafayette needs help because they're going to be working on our program. They want to sell more cybersecurity services. So we actually go in and set up the event itself, like Top Golf. We get the dinner made. We make sure invitations are going out. We do all the lead gen for them. Those MDF funds, guys, pays for those services. So here's the thing. Because some organizations don't offer MDF funds, a lot of our MSPs are moving to organizations that do, because marketing can be an expense item that they cannot afford. So they will leave one company and move to the competitor because they'll give them MDF funds to help them market. That is a huge change. Second is MDF funds are appropriately used to help market and solicit so that MSP can get more business, that MSSP can get more clients. Because of that, this is something that we've told our clients who are MSPs and MSSPs. So guys, I deal with this every day. I hear the voice of your customer every single day in my firm is that, Char, they want us to sell all these products, but they're not giving us the tools to do that. And so every time when that account manager calls me up and says, hey, why aren't you selling more of our services? Our MSPs are saying, what are you doing to help me sell? And that's where MDF funds are the bridge. So you might want to go ahead and ask, does your company provide MDF funds? What is the expectations of those MDF funds? And how do you succeed with those MDF funds? We're really lucky and fortunate that people like AT&T use us because we're agile, we adapt, we have the voice of the customer, and so we work alongside with them. We don't want you to like feel like, oh, Char, we're not going to do MDF funds. We'll do something else then. What can you do to add value to your current customer? I'll tell you one thing that we do for our customers, especially my MSPs and MSSPs, we actually will pull lead lists for them and help them fill their funnel. See how different that is, guys? Do you know why people want to work with us? Because we're trying to help them make business and make money. We're not trying to tell them sell our product and throw it down their throats and expect that. This is a humongous shift in the market. You will lose your competitor, you will lose your client to a competitor because they're providing MDF funds for them. Oh, look at that,
Dude.
Harsha. I love this. Look at this. He will leave as an MSP. They will go to a partner with MDF funds.
Wow, that is sorry. I'm coming again in from so enterprise direct sales over here, and it's just like blow like another literally every webinar we have with Charlene, like I learned something that completely blows my mind. It's so obvious. It's not obvious, but it's so like duh, it makes sense actually. Because MSPs, smaller channel companies are
Right.
they don't have that. They have like they might not even have a marketer on staff. So
Right.
they're going to do marketing. They need that support and they need that help from their vendor partners. And if you're not providing that help in some way through the enablement, like you said at the beginning of this webinar, Charlene, like enablement, helping them create materials so that they can sell based on compliance to their end users. And then also this MDF funds thing. Wow. I'm so glad I asked about
Huge.
that.
Well, and I'll say this in segue, right? Like, Harshal, I think that's just the reality, right? Because your partner's invested in you. How many of you guys love when that account manager calls you in and says, hey, what are you doing to help me sell my product? And you're like, wow, you're just going to call me every 3 months because that's what I'm on your little checklist. You don't get to know my business. You don't know my needs. Like we send like crumble cookies. Like we love when our clients big wins. Are you guys doing anything to do that? What does that $10 spend mean for you? It's a relationship that really makes sense, right? They're going to say, hey, you know why we work with this partner? Because they care about us first. We're people first, technology second. People first, technology second.
That's brilliant. Another thing you said, Charlene, and I'm just trying to demystify some acronyms here
Yes.
for those of us. Hello, new joiners. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We are on Q&A. If you are on LinkedIn Live, feel free to put questions. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going with the questions on Zoom. So another thing you had said earlier, Charlene, on integrations, I had like bookmarked this. You said PSA.
Yes.
And can you explain a little bit about what the heck that
Yes.
is? Why does that matter to the MSP world, et cetera, et cetera?
So we're very fortunate. We love our PSA partners, people like ConnectWise, right? People like Halo. These partners of ours are integrated into the MSP business as their business operations tool. Okay. So when you think about an MSP and they do ticketing, they do project management, they do billing, they do communications. The PSA is part of the foundation of all business management. That's their infrastructure. And so when you're integrated with them, it makes it easier for them to add your solution to their stack. Okay. So I'll give you an example. We just took a client through an integration, which was awesome. And the reason why it was great is because this PSA didn't have this tool at all. So they're the one of its kind. So when I went to Australia a couple of weeks ago, guess what, guys? It was rolling this product out to all of their MSPs. They had 42 appointments in 4 hours of a show because they were integrated. That integration makes it easier for that MSP to pick up the solution and sell more of it. And so guys, when you're looking at your business and you're integrated, what are you doing to make that maximize? Like maximize the crap out of it. Tell the world that you're integrated because you'll make more money for your business. And that MSP is going to say, you know why I like working with them? It's easy to work with them. That is the entire push of why integrations is an important part of your formula.
Love it. That makes a lot of sense. They already are using that's like when we're looking for stuff, like when Maria and I are looking for stuff and we're looking for like things that connect to HubSpot, right?
Right.
HubSpot's the core of what we do. And a lot of us here as marketers who have had to deal with the ops side of the house, it's just an analogy. It's a correlate. I don't know how to say that word. It's an analogy. It's a match, right? We have to find tools that integrate with the tools that we already have so that we don't pull our hair out every day just trying to do a social media post or something like
Right.
that.
Well,
So
automation, right? Think about it.
Mhm.
HubSpot automates the posting, which saves you probably what, 15 hours a month because it
Yeah.
automates it. It's there, it's done versus where you have to physically post every day. And then by the time it's 5 o'clock, you're like, oh crap, I didn't post yet. So you save time by having this integration, this automation. Remember that little 5-step, guys? I'm telling you, if you follow that formula for the 5 things that you can market and sell, I'm telling you, your MSPs are going to be a lot more sticky. They're going to be a lot better. That retention is going to happen naturally. It's not forced. It's a natural progression of a relationship.
Love it, love it. What are some other, okay, this is just fun because now we're just gonna have fun. What are some other like relationship building activities? You talked about the golfing, you talked about a $10 crumble cookies,
Yeah.
right? What are some other easy things that marketers can do to sort of after at the end of that bow tie and
Right.
hopefully far in advance, right? Because it's not like, hey, here's some cookies, renew.
Right.
But to keep that relationship going, what are some other activities, things that you've done or you've seen people done or your clients have done that you think have worked pretty well in keeping that relationship going?
So in the onboard, guys, here's the most important step. When they're onboarding with you, that's the most critical time for you to get to know your customer. So you can say, hey, when's your birth date? Don't ask for the year, just ask for the birth date. 2, ask them what their favorite color is. What's their favorite sports team? Right? So when you're touching them every quarter in this quarterly business review, you could say, hey, I know they like the Giants. I'm going to go ahead and send them a Giants game. Now, remember this, guys. You need to look at your cost of acquisition. Do you know how much it costs to acquire a new customer? It could be $200, it could be $1,000, but the reason why your company is willing to spend that money because the life of that client. The life of that client will bring you 10, 20, 30,000. If they're going to go through an M&A, that number is going to be critical. So you have to look, how do I keep a current sale that took us maybe, I'll just use round numbers. Let's say it took you $500 to acquire that customer, but the life of that customer, you're going to make $10,000. Okay. So if $500 is going to take what it takes to earn them and you lose them, that means you've lost all the revenue behind them too. So if you're going to spend, and I'm just going to say this every quarter to do, here's some strategies. 1, make the virtual meeting a virtual lunch and learn where you say, hey, what do you want today? Do you want Jimmy John's? I'll go ahead and have it delivered to you for $10. You're going to deliver lunch to them at their desk, at their home or their office. And they're going to think, this is so cool. I want to have this meeting with you. I want to talk to you. Right? Next one. Hey, your birthday. I'm going to send you some cookies. Hey, this is so cool. Happy birthday. You didn't have to bake the cookies, guys. You just had to order it. It's not that hard. Okay. Third, something that's favorite. Let's say it's baseball season like it is, and it's kind of veering off. It's going to be football season, but you know that in your intake form, you said, hey, what's your favorite sport? Who's your favorite team? And they go, gosh, look, they just sent me something off of Amazon, right? With a little message that says, hey, we're so happy that we're partners. I just wanted to send you something. It's baseball season. How much harder is it going to be to acquire a new customer? If you just took care of them and made sure they had everything they wanted, they would take care of you instantly. And here's my last strategy, guys. You know, we forget that we're in business and that we're people, but I've had several clients who have lost loved ones. I've had one that just recently lost their spouse, you know, so remember there's a human side to them. And if you hear that, your responsibility is to take action. So what is it going to cost you if you sent $50 of flowers, maybe a gift card to their kid's wedding, maybe something that says, hey, we're just thinking about you. Happy Mother's Day. All of those touches, guys, we spend so much money at an event booth to acquire a customer that I always say, guys, you forget the number one thing. When you win them as a customer, what are you doing to keep them as your customer?
It's a lot cheaper than, you know, your average LinkedIn ads budget a year, you know, cost per lead.
Right.
You end up spending 500 plus bucks to acquire one lead on LinkedIn when you can. And don't forget, like when you're delighting your customer this way, there is a referral, there is word of mouth. You create a champion, and that gets you more revenue that way.
Yes, 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 yes. I love that. Yes. And Maria, I think you touched on something, you know, we don't look at the cost of acquisition. I challenge you guys today to go look at your cost of acquisition. That will tell you what you could do differently with your budgets.
I love that. anyone on here who doesn't know your cost of acquisition should, as a marketer, maybe you're an intern and you happen to be on, but so maybe you don't know, but I think it's really important for us as marketers to understand these metrics so that we can help inform what we're doing, regardless of where you are in your career. And then also that way you can sort of grow and understand more about how the business side of everything works as you progress in your career as well. So
Yes, yes.
challenge everybody to know your customer cost of acquisition and your lifetime value and what your ACV is if you don't know it.
Yes.
All of that should inform what you're doing, because you don't want to spend 700 times what you actually get out of a deal.
Right. And you know what's going to happen sometimes, guys? You're going to listen to this webinar and you're going to move on to the next meeting and the next meeting. And then it's going to be 5 o'clock and then you're gone. And then you're going to say, oh gosh, I hate the results that we got from that campaign, or hey, my marketing's not working. My boss is mad at me. I just want you to remember this. This is an invitation to make small adjustments along this path that you're on in improving your marketing and go-to-market strategy. My goal isn't for you to stop and overhaul this entire process. It's not easy. You need someone who actually knows the strategies behind it. You know the process, you know the foundation you need to build. My invitation is to just do one thing. If you could do one thing differently, then you're better off than you were today before you came to the webinar. You're better off than you were when you're trying to explain to your boss, why is it costing us so much? I tell a lot of my clients, stop doing ads because that's just lost money. I have a client today. They came to me and said, Char, we spend $15,000 a month on LinkedIn for the last 12 months. I said, you're going to stop now that I'm your CMO, and we're going to take that money and reappropriate somewhere else. They almost about died. I said, well, look at your stats. You haven't had a single demo. You've had all this branding and all this visibility, but no engagement. When there's no engagement, guys, that means that no one is wanting to hear what you're saying. Something is wrong with your messaging. And I can tell you this, you could try and fix all your content all you want, but engagement is the goal when you're doing that. And so unfortunately, sometimes the ad strategy is not the right time, or it's not the right strategy to begin with. And it's okay to stop what doesn't work. I'm just afraid people are afraid to stop what doesn't work.
Yeah. People are afraid to get off the hamster wheel, even if the hamster wheel
Yeah.
is driving them off the cliff. Mm-hmm.
And $130,000 a year on ad spend, that's a budget for a salary. That's a budget for events. That's a budget, right, guys? Think about all the things that's client acquisition costs you could be putting that money into. And yet we just let the ads run because, oh, that's what everyone else is doing. I don't believe in that. Do what works and stop doing what doesn't make sense.
We love this. We love this. And we always love having you on, Charlene. Char, this has been so fun.
Oh, thank
If
you.
anyone else has any last questions, shoot them over. But this has been amazing. We can't wait to have you back on. I think we have another webinar with you in November.
Mhm.
So folks, make sure to sign up. We'll also send an email out to everyone so that they get that registration link. And of course, Char will be at Cyber Marketing Con. Oh, thank you,
Yes.
Linda. Yes, we're
Oh,
glad you liked
yay.
it.
Yay, Linda. Thanks so much. And I'm sure there's lots of people on LinkedIn as well. But guys, one of the things that's an invitation is sometimes you just need to talk to someone who's not in your same peer group. Sometimes you need to talk to someone who's outside of it, who says, well, why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? Right? Challenge you a little bit more. Instead of being a yes conversation, be more of a challenge conversation so that you can be better at what you're doing. Because I know that some of you are having these aspirations to become a chief marketing officer. You can't become that unless you understand the business dynamics. You can't really understand a channel chief role unless you understand how to sell to a channel. Like those are just kind of like the building blocks of a career path that you want. My invitation to you is like decide where you want to go, but you have to be better for it. Like you have to do better in order to get into those roles. You can't just assume that you should get the role because, I want that. I'm like, you got to kind of earn it. You got to kind of work it in order to get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a great opportunity for folks to reach out to Charlene and ask her to give you some tough love.
Yes. Well, and guys, this is the thing, right? It's like I am such an open book. I literally like give you my playbook on this webinar. And what's so fun is that many of you are like, oh my gosh, we could do this, this, and this, right? My goal is just for you to just do one. My promise is you will always have something you could be better at, but I don't want you to do all of it. Just do one thing today differently in your marketing, in your partner channel build, because I promise you it will be more successful.
We love it. We love it so much. Thank you, Shar, for joining this webinar. Thank you for talking with all of us again and sharing all of your secrets and your insights. And this has been fabulous. This is like absolutely fabulous. Every webinar with you is amazing. Folks, make sure to tune in to the next one and make sure to come to Cyber Marketing Con in
Yes, sign
person in
up.
Philadelphia or virtual if you're not able to make it out, although we do hope you can make it out.
Yes, definitely. Thanks, ladies, again. And I'm so happy,
Thanks,
Maria, for
everyone.
the organization. They are going to be 10 times more because of your spark. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Take care,
Bye, everyone.
everyone.
Take
care.
Thank you.